Did you know that during the Cold War, some of the most advanced cities on Earth were built underground, not to save humanity, but to abandon it? This story doesn't begin with missiles. It begins with fear. In the late 1940s and 1950s, as nuclear weapons grew more powerful, governments around the world realized something terrifying. A full-scale nuclear war wouldn't just kill millions, it would end civilization itself. So leaders asked a forbidden question: who should survive if the world ends? And once that question was asked, there was no turning back. Behind classified doors, secret plans were drawn up. Engineers, architects, and military planners were summoned under strict secrecy. They were told they were building continuity of government facilities, emergency shelters, backup command centers. But that was only half the truth. What they were really building were underground sanctuaries, hidden bunkers, designed to keep a small, powerful elite alive while the surface of the earth burned. These bunkers were carved deep into mountains, buried beneath cities, and disguised as ordinary government buildings. Some were hidden behind fake doors, others beneath innocuous farms or office complexes. And every blueprint carried the same silent rule: there would not be room for everyone. Construction workers signed non-disclosure agreements thicker than phone books. Many were rotated in and out, never allowed to see the full design. Some worked only at night. Others were transported blindfolded. One engineer later said he realized too late that he had just signed his death warrant because certain workers knew too much to ever walk away. Entire sections of projects were sealed permanently once completed. Tools were left behind, records destroyed, and officially, these bunkers did not exist. Inside, they were not crude shelters. They were cities, long hallways lined with steel doors, dormitories with bunk beds stacked 3 high, hospitals with operating rooms ready for mass casualties, command centers filled with blinking lights and wall-sized maps of a dying world. Some bunkers had movie theaters, libraries, gyms, even artificial sunlight systems designed to trick the human brain into believing it was still daytime. Why? Because psychological survival mattered just as much as physical survival. If the elite were to live underground for years, possibly decades, they needed to forget the screams above. Food storage was calculated down to the calorie. Water recycling systems could turn waste into drinking water. Air filtration systems were designed to remove radioactive particles from the atmosphere. But here's where the story turns dark. Declassified documents reveal that many bunkers were only designed to support life for a limited number of people. Usually, government officials, military commanders, scientists, and select families. Not the public, not the workers, not the soldiers stationed outside, just them. When the sirens sounded, the doors would close, and they would never open again. In some facilities, armed guards were assigned a final task: prevent anyone unauthorized from entering, even if they begged, even if they screamed, even if they were family. One chilling memo reportedly stated, "Compassion may compromise mission success." In other words, mercy was a liability. Perhaps the most unsettling example is the vast network of Cold War bunkers built across the United States, the Soviet Union, and parts of Europe. In West Virginia, a massive bunker was secretly built beneath a luxury resort. Guests slept peacefully above, unaware that beneath their feet lay a fully stocked underground government designed to replace Congress after nuclear annihilation. In the Soviet Union, entire underground cities were rumored to exist, complete with rail systems and command hubs buried deep beneath Moscow. And in Switzerland, nearly every citizen was told there was room for them, while classified expansions quietly prioritized political leadership. The public story was always comforting. The private reality was ruthless. But the most horrifying part wasn't the bunkers themselves. It was the choice, because every bunker represented a decision made in advance, a calculation of whose lives were worth preserving and whose were expendable. Millions would die in firestorms and radiation, and a few thousand would survive, listening to the echoes of a world that no longer existed. Some former officials later admitted that survival wasn't guaranteed even inside the bunkers. Psychological collapse, power struggles, mutiny. What happens when a small group realizes they are the last rulers of a dead planet? What laws apply underground? What happens when supplies run low? And who decides who eats and who doesn't? These questions were never meant to be answered publicly. As the Cold War faded, many bunkers were decommissioned. Some were sealed forever. Others were converted into museums, data centers, or tourist attractions. But many remain classified. Their doors still locked. Their locations still hidden. Because the truth they represent is uncomfortable. The bunkers weren't just about survival. They were about control. Control over the future. Control over history. Control over who gets to see the sun again. And in the end, the greatest conspiracy isn't that these bunkers existed. It's that they remind us of something deeply human. When the world is ending, we don't save everyone. We choose. And somewhere underground, behind steel doors and silent halls, that choice is still waiting for the day it might be needed again.